So appreciate you. Oh, thank you. I think that's a new Zoom thing. I'm still not used to it. It's like, hey, who else is talking right now? So appreciate you guys being on. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Chris. Um, so this is my monthly 411 class. And for those of you that are new, what I generally do is kind of talk about a 411, which is, does anybody know what a 411 is? Feel free to chime in. This is an interactive class. Or sit quiet if you sit quiet for too long. I'm not one of those people that sits here and waits for an answer. I'll answer it myself. But, you know, I was speaking of that. I was on a meeting the other day, and it was with all of the team leaders and OPs of like all of Los Angeles County, and they just brought some new lady in, and I don't care that this is being recorded. But it was the first question she asked, right? And she's like, it's okay, I'll sit here and wait. And like, we're all sitting in silence for someone to answer the question. And I was like, come on, you know? Anyways, enough with that. But so a 411 is actually a business plan, right? It's your business plan. And what's really important about doing the 411 is that not only that you do your business goals for the year, so most people actually create their 411 at the end of the year. You know, they do their vision board, they do a business plan, which is their 411, and they get ready for what they want to do in the next year, right? But it's okay, because a lot of you guys, especially those of you that are new, are like Sarah, that's just on her way to get her license next month. So good luck to you. You know, you can start it at any time. And what's really important with the 411 is that not only that you create the business plan, right? But that you look at it every single month, that you work on it every month, and that you update it every month. Because if you don't, you're gonna spend all your time today after today's class. And I really want you, I try to make the class a little different every month so that those of you, you know, I want you guys to come back monthly. And the reason why is that way, when you do your business plan, like I asked, that was the first thing I asked if anybody came with their business plan today, their 411, because I'll actually go through your goals, you know, here on the class, and it'll set an example for everyone else, right? But it's important that you look at it every single month, that you update it every single month, because if you don't, guess what's going to happen? It's going to come October, November of the end of the year. We're all going to talk about business planning for 2022. You know, setting our goals for the new year, and you're going to look back at what your goals were for 2021, and what's going to happen. Anyone? You're not going to have achieved them. So looking at this every single month is going to help you see where you're at, what you need to tweak. It's going to help me as the team leader of this office with you and your own business, and be like, hey, these are your goals. So I'm not the kind of team leader that's, you know, drilling you and saying, hey, where's your production? Where's your next deal coming from, right? That's your responsibility. This is your business. But if you want our help, you know, we have an incredible team and staff here, and there's a lot of agents here to help you, even if that's not your mentor or not a staff employee of the office. You know, to help you in whatever needs to be tweaked. I mean, look at even this Zoom today. We got Serena and Michelle from Lawyers Title on here, and there's a lot of resources that our title partners have to help us in achieving those goals, right? So look at it and go from there. So this has been a quiet group this morning, but I do need your help, and there's no wrong answer. But I want to know, and I'm going to bring my little dry erase board over here. What are your goals for 2021? Business goals, personal goals, whatever it is. And I'm not going to keep you on the spot. So just saying one thing, right? So for example, my goal for the office is to grow to 500 agents. That is Harma's goal for me in this office, and it's my goal for myself. Right now we're at about 420. So we got 80 more people to grow over the next 6 months, because we're in June. We'll say 7 months. We're going to include June in my numbers, right? So we got 7 months to grow by 80 agents. So we need to add 12 people a month without losing anybody in order for me to hit that goal, right? My personal goal, I got a lot of personal goals. I'm supposed to start digging on my pool next week for my house. I'm going to Europe at the end of August and September, so you're not going to see me for 2 weeks. It's okay, I'll still be around. I just won't be in the office, right? So you got personal goals and business goals, and that's part of the 411 sheet. So Whitney dropped in the box right there, the 411 sheet. You guys can all download this. It's done in a Word document, so you can edit it, right? But I would suggest that you do it in the Word doc, so that way you can type things in there and just easily modifying it without having to go back and retype everything, right? Especially if you're going to do it every month. So can anybody get the courage to unmute yourself? You don't have to show your camera, but give me some ideas of what your goals are for this year.
My goal is to pass the exam. That is definitely a goal of mine. It's a total career COVID shift. I was in hospitality for 20 years, running restaurants and associate director of food services at a movie studio. It's totally different. I haven't been in school in 20 years. So just studying and the whole process of that is, I think, a personal goal and a professional goal. I'm super excited to start this new venture and pass this exam. It's been a while on the study sessions.
Awesome. And what's great about that is that goal is going to come to fruition very, very soon, because you're going to graduate, you're going to pass the exam next month, right?
Yes.
Who else? Anyone else want to share a goal that they have? Because I want you to take this class, this opportunity, this class, then go home today, or actually you are at home, right? And actually complete the 411 for yourself. And if you like, just email it to me. And I'm more than happy to go over it one-on-one with you on your own actual goals. If you're in the mentorship program or if you're on a team, you should share this with your mentor, your training director, or your team lead. And you should really meet with them every single month on it. And my staff doesn't know this yet, or I shouldn't call them staff, they're my team, right? My leadership team. But we have our leadership team meeting every Friday, and I'm going to ask them this Friday. So Whitney, you're going to get the scoop here to do a 411, and every single month I'm going to meet with them individually on their own 411, not only for their business, but for their personal. So Mark Parrish, thank you. 3 transactions this year. I love it. 3 transactions. Right. Who else?
I'll go.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. So a goal of mine is to close 8 deals by the end of the year. But a bigger goal that I'm working on right now is organization, being with Christina. I'm on a team, her and I, helping with her on her deals. Coming to the industry with so much information, I really want to learn how to really organize my time, where my calls are at this time, helping clients is this time, because I tend to spend a lot of time helping clients, planning showings. My time management, I think, will help me get further with my deals.
Awesome. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. And that's also part of your time management is also part of the 411. So that was okay. I'll write that down on this paper. So we'll come back to that too. Cool. Who else?
I guess I'll go. Yeah, my goal is 5 transactions for this year, and then also getting my YouTube up and running, because I came from video production and producing TV shows and stuff. So there's no reason I shouldn't be doing YouTube right now with real estate also. So getting that up and running, it could help with some sales too.
I love it. So let me see, org time management, YouTube. Okay, perfect. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a goal of $50,000 for the year.
Amazing. 50K. I love that. And we're going to say GCI. That's your commission, gross commission income, right? So 50K, that's a great different goal than saying transactions, right? But it also kind of goes hand in hand, right? Anyone else want to share one or two or three or whatever, how many goals? You might have 10 goals. I don't care. Because just like how Jamie spoke up right now, it was a different way of addressing what a goal is, right? Anyone else?
I can speak up. Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
Charles.
I'm Charles.
Thank you.
Out on the
You're
ramp. Let me
always
take
on
this off.
the plane. I'm so
Yeah.
jealous.
Always out here on these luxury lanes. One of my goals is 150,000 this year. I've been doing 120, 100, and I'd like to exceed this job in real estate. And then I plan to take my family to Hawaii. They've never been. Some of you guys know that I was military and I've been, but to go to Hawaii, I'd like to take them on a trip. We went to Disneyland for the first time last weekend, so hopefully I can exceed these goals and take them out to a trip.
How was Disneyland?
Amazing. I didn't get to see the Avenger Campus. It was a 5-hour delay. Most people that went to the park went straight to that, but I got to Star Wars and others. And I've been to Disney World, never Disneyland. So this was my first visit. So it was amazing. I loved it. Got to go back.
Awesome. Cool.
So I'm trying to get 5 transactions. I think that'll help.
5 transactions. Cool. And I like how, so for everyone that hasn't met Charles before, he's newer to our office. So I love how he said 150,000 in income, because a lot of you, like me, when I first got started in this industry, like I was working in a law firm for 14 years. I still worked, 4 days a week in the law firm, getting that income, but then, getting started with my business. So it's totally doable. But having his goal, because you want to incorporate your entire life. So you're looking at Charles, he's on all these luxury planes, he's getting income from somewhere else. He wants his entire, you want your 411 to be your entire life, not just what's happening here at Keller Williams, Encino, Sherman Oaks, but where your money's coming in, what goes on in your life, how that relates obviously to your business goals, and that's also why your personal goals are incorporated. So amazing, Charles. Thank you so much for contributing. Okay, perfect. So now, if you guys were on my team meeting yesterday, you know that I went to Austin and spent an hour and a half with Gary Keller and, all day with my colleagues at Keller Williams International. And Gary's big thing was, did anybody be on my team meeting? What did I say? I said, set your goal for the year. And what Gary is telling everybody right now is to double it. So whatever goal you wrote down, you started writing down, hopefully you're writing down stuff as you're thinking about your 411 and how you're going to write that out, is double that goal. And it's okay. It's okay if you don't hit that goal, but think about if you surpass that original goal, right? So if you set that mindset of I'm going to do this and this is where I'm going to go, and you're looking at this 411 every single month and where you're tracking your numbers and how you're achieving it. The other thing he said, which is totally relative, and I didn't even put this in the notes, but he's very much of keeping Keller Williams as #1 real estate brokerage in the world, right? And you don't stay #1 by sitting back on like your laurels and celebrating that #1 success. Then you're going to let the #2 person come and surpass you, right? So the same thing with he said, if you lose, it's because you thought you couldn't lose, or because you didn't make changes when you saw change happening, right? So that's kind of what relates to the 411 and doing it every single month. So if I'm going to show you how to set up the 411 and how you take a goal like 50,000 in GCI or like 5 transactions and how you break that down for every month. But if you see, okay, you had a horrible June, you did hit your goal in June, that's okay, right? We still got to move on and push forward from that. But now you're going to need to tweak some things if you're still going to hit your numbers. Just like me, I'm supposed to hit 500 agents in our office. We'll be even bigger, better, and all that, have more resources and everything for everyone, right? But if I don't have a certain number of people join the office every month, or maybe more people leave than I was expecting, now I got to make that up in the following months if I'm going to hit that goal, right? So how do you achieve these goals, some of you, right? And you don't have to really respond to your own thing, but if you look at, so let's say 50,000 in GCI, right? So GCI is your commission. So how you set up a 411, and if you look at the sheet, right, you're going to have annual goals, monthly goals, and then you're going to have 4 weekly activities. And the 4 weeks of activities are like, you know, the 4 weeks in a month, right? Sometimes there's 5 weeks in a month, not 5 full weeks because there's not that many days ever in a month. But sometimes a month calendar doesn't flush out where it just happens in that 4 weeks, right? But so basically your 4 is the weeks of the month, the 1 is your month, and then the annual is your year. So 411, that's why a 411 is called a 411. So if you're setting an annual goal of 50,000 in GCI, what Harma and I like to do is we like to put a bracket next to the goal. And what that bracket represents is where you are at in this year. So if you want to make 50,000 in GCI this year, and you have not sold anything this year, what goes in that bracket? It's a 0. Okay. Good thing I have my phone here today and I'm not being rude by looking at it. It has my calculator because I'm horrible at math. But if you have 50,000, this is going to be your 411 for the year, but it's for the month of June as well, right? Because we're in June and June's just starting. So with June, July, August, September, October, November, December, that's 7, right? So you're going to take 50,000 because you haven't sold anything yet this year and divide that by 7. And you're going to need for monthly, you're going to need to sell 7,000, get 7,000 in commission every month. GCI monthly. So if you hit your goal of 7,000 a month, every single month for the next 7 months, you're going to hit that 50,000 in GCI for the year. Okay. So how do you make 7,000 in GCI? Does anybody know? That wants to be a brave soul and speak up? We got Sarah, who's not even licensed yet, speaking up. So come on, guys. This is a safe space. Believe me, I probably don't know some of the
A
answers.
480K sale.
Right? Okay, so let's get that trusty calculator out. 480. So 480,000, right? 480 times 2.5%. Oh, shoot. 480 times 2.5% times 2.5% equals actually $12,000.
Bad guess.
But that's fine, right? It's a good example. So look at the sales in this area in Los Angeles. Look at what your house sells for. And if you don't know how to use the MLS yet because you're new, which is fine, go on Zillow. It's not accurate, right? But you'll still know looking at your house or your neighbor's house or your condo or your whatever's selling in the neighborhood, even just your neighborhood, what that price is. So if you sell $1 million home, the average commission is 2.5%. That's $25,000 in commission. So and I don't remember, I'm sorry, I have a horrible memory, even though I know it was only 20 minutes ago. But the 50,000 in commission is $2 million in volume, which there's a lot of just $2 million houses, right? So now, like I said, double that. $100,000 in GCI in commission is $4 million in sales. And if your price point isn't $1 million, that's fine, right? But so at one home, at $1 million sale, that equals 25,000, right? At 4, so times that by 4, that's 100,000. Say you're at a 70-30 split with the office, right? 70-30 split, 30% of 100,000 is 30K. And that's your cap with the office, right? So you keep $70,000 in your pocket. you paid the office the maximum you're going to pay the office for the year. Anything over 4 million in volume is all yours. So that's only 4 deals. Maybe your price point, your neighborhood, when you look up, they're only 500,000. That's fine. If this is 4 transactions to hit your goal, then you do 8 transactions. Well, we got 7 months left. That's a transaction and a fraction every single month. You do 1 deal where you do 2 deals, that's fine. You don't have to make $100,000 your first year in this business. I didn't. It's okay. And look, I've been in this industry for 8 years now. Sorry, not 5. 8 years now. You know, I've been a team leader now for 4 years. It starts to grow. It snowballs, right? But you got to look at it. You have to map it out. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. So that's a great example of how to, you know, to get that dollar amount. But where is it going to come from? So now as you guys set what you need to survive in this business, whether this is, you know, whether you quit your job or you had no job, or you've been in this industry for a while, how much money you need to pay your bills and be happy and live and be comfortable, that's the minimum baseline of your goal, right? Because you're in this class right now to succeed. And then you work it backwards. So where do you get the sales from? Does anybody know?
Referrals.
I love it. Thank you. Referrals. Who else?
Cold calling.
Emily.
I heard cold calling, and then whichever. Who else?
SOI.
SOI. Anyone else?
Farming.
Farming. I love it. Great job, title person.
I know someone that could help.
Right, Serena can help. Her and Mark meet with you guys every single day in the office. They're amazing. Where else? Door knocking, etc. Right? There's tons and tons of different ways to get business. So you got to pick where you want to start. Don't get, you know, a lot of people get on these classes, and you know, the classes are great. I think we have the best classes, not just Keller Williams, but our office. I've seen what other offices, even Keller Williams offices do, and they're all great. You know, they're going to get you where you need to go, but maybe we'll get you a little faster because ours are better, right? But people get overwhelmed with the classes. They're here, whatever. You got to implement this. So don't, you know, take this today. If anything resonates with you, take it and implement it. That's why doing the 411, the physical activity of writing it out and making your plan, now you have the framework to your success. And it's either going to work, or you're going to look back at it July 1st, and you're going to see how you ended the month of June. And as you're preparing your July, did June work for you? Is it a repeat of June and you're going to keep going with it? Or do you need to tweak something to make sure that you get to your goal that you want, right? So I love these. These are all great ideas of lead generating. So now do the other part with it. This also helps in kind of your time blocking. So of all of these things, now you can look at what the price point is. Does anybody know how to do that? So what I mean is that if you're getting referrals, or say you're working sphere of influence, look at who these people would be. And sphere of influence, for those of you that are new, those are the people you know, the people that you're surrounded with, your friends, your family, who's in your circles. Because whether it's someone or directly, like your best friend says, hey, I'm going to be your first client, you know, great. Or it's your best friend that's saying, hey, you know, I know this person, I want to refer them to you. Great, right? But you can kind of have a gauge of what these people's price points are, right? Same thing if you're doing like a farming method. So if you go to cold calling or farming or door knocking, well, who are you calling? Who are you door knocking? Which farm is your area? So if you go to Mark and Serena and they help you set up your farm, and you get your neighborhood, they're going to tell you, okay, great. This farm is viable. Your neighborhood is viable. It's got a great turnover rate. There's nobody that's really strong competing against you. You have a time and you're able to make a big impact in there and get some business, right? But you're going to know if it's that neighborhood and those houses are all, $500,000 homes or condos or whatever it is. Well, 2.5% commission of 500,000, right? $1 million was 25,000. So 500,000 is 12,500. And if you have a goal of 50,000, you need to do at least 4 homes, right? Probably 5, because you got to pay the office too. You got to make 5 sales to make that 50 grand with that price point. Or if your friends, you see your friends, your relatives, where they live, where their likely referrals are going to be. Like, I grew up in the Inland Empire. It's a different price point out that way, right? Which is totally fine. But if I'm going to market to my friends and my family in the Inland Empire, and I'm going to go out and work in the Inland Empire, that's the price point that I'm going to be working at. And that's the type of commission that I'm going to be earning. So you look at how much time, am I going to spend my time in the Inland Empire? Or am I going to spend my time in Los Angeles? Because it's a higher price point here. Well, when I was new, my first sale was at my listing in Rialto, which was $210,000 home. But I didn't care. I wanted to learn the business. If I was going to screw up on something, I'm going to screw up on a $200,000 home and not, some $5 million property that these people are going to lawyer up and, put me out of business. It's okay. We have great lawyers and you have great mentors. So trust them and trust us, right? So does that all make sense to you guys? So first it's understanding what your goals are, right? What you need, what you want out of this business. Second step is where your clients are going to come, or I guess where your clients are going to come from, right? And then that's going to tell you how many deals and transactions and things that you need to make. Okay. Anybody have questions? Is this helpful? You guys are so quiet. At least nod your head or smile or something. It's all right. Okay, cool. I do this every single month, so I'll be back here next month too. Cool.
Dan, I have a question.
Yes.
This is a really basic question, but I don't really understand what a farm is. If you could explain that.
Serena. Let's have Serena pitch in for that one if you help me.
Awesome. So
nobody turned the air conditioning on in this conference room this morning, so.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Dan?
Go ahead, I'm just complaining.
Okay, so literally farm stands for Focused Area Real Estate Marketing. That's the literal term of farm. But the way that you could farm is a variety of ways. Typically, we see people doing geographic farming, which they'll look into the stats, they'll pick an area, and they'll just start consistently targeting that area in a variety of ways. So you could do geographic farming, you could do niche farming, which basically would include things like, I'm just gonna go after absentees, or I'm just gonna go after people that have sold a certain period of time. Or ethnicity, there's different demographic ways that you could farm. So it's really we look at who you are and how best will set you up for success for your farm. So if it means geographic, then we'll start asking questions like, where do you live? Where do you want to, move into eventually? Were you raised in a certain area that makes sense for you to go farm in that area? And then we'll look at the stats, and then we'll look at, we'll look at the turnover. Is there enough activity there that makes sense for you to go in there? And then the last step, as Dan mentioned, is, we'll kind of guide you to, are there dominating agents that are spending a lot of marketing dollars in that area? So in a nutshell, it's basically focusing your marketing in a specific area. Does that help?
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
Of course.
Can I jump in really quick, Dan?
Yeah, of course, Michelle.
Hi, everybody. So you may also, I heard a couple people say that they came from a different industry. So you might have like a personal sphere of influence that you were working with before. And that's called a personal farm, and we can get you all of the data for that too. So those are always really great leads to follow up on And you may or may not get like the actual geographic stats for that, but we can get you all of the information, and you can still farm those in a different way that you're going to farm your geographic farm. So
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, I was going to add to that too. So, if there's people that farm, especially us being Los Angeles, it's an entertainment industry. Maybe you're a producer, you're an actress, whatever it is, and you have that database of everybody in SAG or whatever it is. So they'll farm that database. Or, I came from law, I came from family law, which is a great attorneys because people are divorcing, they need to sell their houses, right? So that's a great referral system. So if I were to collect every family law attorney's contact information and spend my time, wining and dining them or schmoozing them or getting to know them or just constantly being in front of them, hopefully you're going to get business from that too. So clearly like professional organizations and stuff as well. So thank you, Michelle and Serena. Any other questions? So now a great point that was brought up was like time management, right? So now that you kind of understand what your goal is, at least with business, right? And so you can do the same thing for whatever it is, right? It's really is how you build on that. So going back to the 411 are the 4 weekly activities, right? So somebody give me an example of what they mentioned for lead generation.
SOI.
SOI, perfect. Okay, great. This is an amazing way. So farming also is incredible. It takes time though, right? It takes time, it takes investment. I think if you choose to do farming, you should still do your sphere of influence, because to me, it's also like the lowest hanging fruit. These are people that know you, they want to support you in this business. So you kind of have to let them know that you're in the business, right? To get that business from them. So taking sphere of influence, where do you think, what kind of activities do you think you could do with your sphere of influence on a monthly basis, monthly, weekly, daily, whatever basis? We'll actually go back to this. So you got to let them know that you're in the business, right? So the first thing, especially with whether it's farming or whether it's sphere of influence or wherever you're going to get your business from, you have to have a database, right? Because you're never going to be able to, whether your database is your phone, is your yearbook, is your address book, is your Instagram account, your Facebook account, whatever, that's great. But you need a system in place for that. So you need to extract all of that data, right? If you go the farming route, Mark and Serena, Lawyer's Title, can help get you that data, right? But you still have to, we're not old school anymore. There's no phone books anymore. So you're not going to take a big book of papers and go down those books every week or whatever and call these people, right? You want to import that into your system, into Command, something like that. So everybody remember database, because we need to come back to it in part of your schedule. Aside from building that database, you're doing like weekly activities, right? So being in front of your sphere, how are you going to connect with them? Just like cold calling.
You have birthdays, graduations. Oh.
Yeah, so just like cold calling is people you don't necessarily know, right? Warm calling are people you know. So you have your sphere, you have your friends, your family, picking up the phone, texting them, sending them a message through Facebook, whatever method is better for you. Obviously, phone call is the most effective because you've got them or seeing them physically in person. So calling, meeting with them. And so meeting with them goes to like events and things. Maybe you are going to schedule every month, you look at your budget. Maybe once a week, you're going to have 2 coffees with people that you know. If you're social like me, you're looking at the month. So it's June, right? Well, it's Father's Day. My father, thankfully, is still alive. You know, maybe I'm helping to organize, get my family, all my relatives together, and we're going to celebrate all our fathers together and do a picnic. Well, great. That's going to be an amazing opportunity, not only to you to be with your family and to have a great quality of life, but be purposeful in that event of Father's Day. And make sure that all of, you know, don't stand up there like, hey, I'm a realtor, you know, like everybody, whatever. It's just real, genuine conversation. So when you're talking to your cousin, you know, hey, how's it going? You know, thank God we can finally meet again and, you know, take these masks off. How are you doing? How'd you survive through all of this? You know, the most common thing somebody will, they'll turn back around and say, how have you been? You know, it's just simple. You ask someone, how's work? Are they letting you back in the office? You know, and they come back, how's work for you? Work's great. You know, I got my real estate license. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram or whatever it was, but I joined Keller Williams in Encino Sherman Oaks. My office is just killing it right now. The industry's so hot, you know, interest rates are low. So it's been really fun and I'm really enjoying it. They don't need to, you know, nobody asks, well, how many things have you sold? Well, maybe somebody might ask, but you're like, hey, I just got licensed, you know, but my team, go back to the office. My team, your office, this office is your team, okay? My team, we're almost at 800 million this year. You know, we did 1.2 billion in sales last year. Despite how busy the office is, I mean, take the things that we give you in the team meetings and those announcements. You know, we've had even the daily happenings. You know, we had 8 new listings today. You know, we're getting more listings than any other office, whatever. So that gives you those conversations. Or, oh, well, that's amazing, that's great. But then go the next step further. You've made it not of you sitting there giving the sales pitch like, you know, the Cutco people at the office meeting or like Bella, right? Sorry if they watch this on the recording from the YouTube channel. That's their job, you know, right? But you know, you've been one-on-one, being personal with them, whatever. You're like, hey, how's your house? Like, how are things there? Are you ever planning on moving? Have you, you know, the interest rates are so low. You know, do you have anybody? Do you know of anybody? You know, asking for the business that way, right? Being natural. But making purposeful even those family events, right? What else? Any questions on how to do this? Like what activities you can be doing?
About open houses since they're back.
Amazing, thank you. Charles, you're just on point today, I must say. All right. Okay, great. So let's go back to the 4 weeks, because I know we only have 20 minutes left here. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. If open houses, so again, you look at where your lead generation activities are. And great job, Charles. So if you're going to do open houses, that's going to be a way for you to get business. All right. Well, there's 4 weeks in the month. And maybe you don't want to do an open house every Sunday. That would be 4 open houses if you did. Or maybe the month of July has 5 Sundays. Or maybe you want to do open houses on Saturdays and Sundays. And now you have 9 or 10 or 8 open houses to do. So great. So maybe you're going to do 2 open houses a week, or let's just say 1 open house. Like, let's not kill us, right? 1 open house, put the bracket. 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 So when you go to your monthly, you're going to commit to 4 open houses every month. And when you so now that we have 7 months left in the year, if you're going to commit to doing 4 open houses a month, and we have 7 months left in the year, that's 21 open houses. So on your annual goal, you do 21 open houses. So now we look at June, right? Well, okay, so let's go back to the Father's Day example. You only want to do open houses on Sunday. Maybe you're Orthodox and you don't do things on Saturday. Yeah.
28.
What?
28 houses.
28 open houses? Oh, sorry. I know, I'm horrible at math. Thank you. Good thing I'm not the CEO of this office. Right? That's why we have Megan and Lenny. Thank God for them. So let's go back to June, for example, and Father's Day. Well, Father's Day is is it the second week or the third week of June, whatever week it is, right? Doesn't matter. But I want to be with my dad and my family. And so I'm not going to do an open house on the second week of June. So you need to make your 411 relative to the exact month. That's also why you do it every month. But you've made a commitment to yourself to do 4 open houses a month. So now, okay, so you still do one, and so maybe on week 4, you do 2 open houses. Maybe you do an open house on Saturday and Sunday that weekend because, the kids are gone or whatever's going on with your life. It's a slow weekend. It's before the 4th of July. You're going to party up that 4th of July. So you're going to put in the extra work here that last week in the month. And, you're still going to get 2, 3, 4 open houses for the month of June. And if you don't have any listings, well, this is also in your playbook for the month and the year. Okay, so part of my things that I need to do every week is look where the open houses are going to come from. Make friends with people in the office. Look at that daily happenings email to see who's got the listings that week or that day. Come into the office, look at the listing boards. Set up an MLS search with our office in it. So you get that own data yourself. So you can see at any given time who in our office has active listings. And maybe that's part of your Monday calls every Monday. You're going to call the agents or email the agents in our office. Hey, I see you have a listing here on Dixie Canyon. Congratulations. If there's any help that I can, do with you, I have my own signs. If you're new to the business, my mentor is Bonnie. She showed me how to do a great open house. If you have the availability, I can help you with your open house next weekend or the weekend after. I'd love the opportunity to help with you, and I'll give you all the feedback from the open house, right? So now as you're looking at your month, something that like Harm and I do is, so if I'm going to do one open house a month or a week, I'll put a little bullet point here. And as I'm filling out the open house things, okay, great. Harma is going to let me do his open house here. Bonnie's going to let me do my open house there. Whatever. So you're not going to know at the end of the month whose open house you're going to sit, because that house, especially in this market, is gone, right? But as you're looking at this every day, every week, it's on your desk, mapping out you see where you need to fill in. So it's not only doing the open house, but it's where am I going to get that open house from? But it's on your 411, it's on your business plan to do that, right? Same thing with, say, we went back to having coffee. So, a coffee's $5 at Starbucks. You want to buy your guest a coffee and you want to buy yourself a coffee. So that's $10 in your budget. Now, maybe you can only do that once a week. Maybe you can do that 2 times a week based on your budget. But you're working your sphere. So you're going to do 2 coffees a week and do the brackets, right? And then again, the little bullet points. And that's an easier thing to kind of fill in the bullets, because as you're making calls, as you're emailing with people, as you're social mediaing with people and your people in your sphere, hey, Serena, it's been 15 months since we've seen each other because of COVID. Let's catch up and get coffee. Are you free this week? Oh no, I'm busy, I can't. How about next week? I can do next week. Okay, great. Now Serena's one of my coffee dates for next week. You can map that stuff out for the rest of the month, Calling, door knocking, same thing as the open houses. So if you look at this, if you're new to our office, if you're in the mentorship program, you should all have a copy of this. It's called the training program completion requirements. It's 2 pages, front and back, right? I say requirements, but it's really, I'm not throwing you out of the office if you don't do something, but it's really your key to success, right? This is your guide, your map, your time, your guide, really. If you're not in the mentorship program, but you want to see what this looks like, just ask Whitney or Lenny. They'll send it to you, they'll email it to you, right? But it gives you ideas of things that you could do. So for example, commit to at least one of the following: hold 3 open houses a month, or door knock for a minimum of 2 hours 3 times a week, or alternatively cold call for a minimum of 2 hours 3 times a week, or have a sphere of influence large enough to generate monthly leads for your business and show progress to training director. So whether you do door knocking or cold calling, we said, you know, a minimum 2 hours, 3 times a week. That's 6 hours, right? 6 hours in what, a 40-hour work week? I mean, if that's what you want to do. So where do those 6 hours fall in? So if you're going to commit to say 6 hours of cold calling every week, you do the 6 hours cold calling with the brackets. So now go to your calendar, right? It's on here. You're going to call. You're either going to call your sphere. You're going to get numbers from Mark and Serena, like the data from Mark and Serena. Search for the numbers. However you get the numbers, you're going to call that farm. You know, you're committing to that. Now look at your schedule, right? So this goes to the time blocking. Whatever your schedule looks like, because we all have different lives, right? And if you've got kids, you got to go to school, you got to take them to school, you got to pick them up from school. You don't have kids, maybe you're a partier, whatever it is, right? I don't care. It's your business, right? But look at your calendar now. Time block that time block. So we got, say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Oh, sorry, this is stupid. So we got 9 a.m. and we got 5 p.m. Right? I know it's kind of hard to see this, but you guys are following along, right? Yeah. Okay. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 to 5, and your calendar looks like this, right? So you got all the hours and everything here. But you're going to commit to 2 hours. If you've never cold called before, figure out your mojo. So for me, I have to cold call for our office to grow our office, right? Call a bunch of agents that don't know who I am or know who I am, but I've never met with or whatever it is. Or even following up with the people that I have talked to in the past, right? I'm using my database for that, seeing whose talk said they would meet with me. I got to follow up with them in 3 months or 2 months or 2 weeks or whatever it is. But for me, if I'm going to call 2 hours a day, 3 days a week, now I have my calendar in front of me for the week. It helps for me when I call in the morning. Because believe it or not, you know, I come in the office, people ask me questions, I'm on the Zoom, I'm farting around, whatever it is, right? Lots of things happen in your day. And if you don't get your lead generation, at least for me, if I don't get my lead generation done in the morning, well, you know, I had a big lunch. I got food coma. I'm not productive in the afternoon. I had a glass of wine at lunch. I'm not productive in the afternoon. Harma needs something from me. The front desk needs something from me. One of my agents has a major problem that I need to stop and help them with. You know, it's all part of life, you know, that's fine. So I find personally, and it's up to you, that my lead generation time is best done in the morning because I can kind of crank it out, knock it out, and whatever happens in the rest of the day, well, okay, that's fine. I still did my lead generation in the morning. But if you might have your kids in the morning, you might have, you want to work out in the morning, you don't wake up like 5 o'clock like me to work out, you need to work out at 8 o'clock, that's fine, it's your schedule, it's your life. Block that out. So if you do maybe from 9 to 11, right, 10, 11, that's 2 hours. This is my cold calling time. 3 times a week. Well, now you got your 6 hours of cold calling lead gen in a week, right? But life's gonna happen. So Monday came and everything went to shit in the handbag or whatever it's called. Sorry, probably shouldn't be cursing on our whatever, but it happens, right? It's life, we're all humans. Okay, I had a horrible Monday, it was just the Monday blues, I was hungover, I was not as productive on Monday, so whatever, it just screwed up my day. So now I'm gonna move my cold calling time to Tuesday. But I missed Monday, I'm gonna move my mark over to Tuesday. I'm still gonna get those 6 hours in if it's gonna kill me. Because if you don't lead generate, you have no business. Your business will not grow. So you need to make sure you're setting that time and time blocking that time and respecting that time. And when life throws you a curveball and you can't keep it, you move it, okay? So whatever it is in life, so what I suggest, and I do this with Veronica, she's my coach, she's our coach, I meet with her every week for multiple reasons. Calendar out the rest of your year. So set your 411. If you're committing to 6 hours of cold calling a week or 6 hours of door knocking a week or whatever it is that suits you, Gary Keller says, book your vacations first. So give yourself that break, even if you have no money in the bank right now. But again, you're going to visualize this happening, right? You're going to reach those goals. So part of your goals in here is also your personal goals. So block out, even if it's a holiday. Okay, it's Labor Day weekend. You're just going to block out the weekend and, you know, plan to, you know, go to the beach or something. That's just all you can afford. That's what you need. That's what you're going to do, right? You have your kids, the school schedule. You know that you're really only able to work in real estate from 10 to 2. You know, that's when you got to do the lead gen, and you got to get the kids taken care of, and then whatever it is, right? Blocking that out, then you fill in all the gaps. When you get your appointments, well, great, now I got an appointment. Maybe you do your appointments in the afternoon. So you're going to do your coffees in the afternoon. You're going to do your listing and presentations in the afternoon. You're going to do your buyer consultations in the afternoon. Or so then you talk to a buyer and the buyer says, oh, I can't meet in the afternoon. You know, I have this X, Y, and Z. Great. Well, now you'll move your lead gen time in the morning, but you'll know to be able to replace it and fill that in. One thing that I find incredibly important is building your database. So including in your 411 and in your calendar. So just as much as lead generation, you should have some time blocked in your calendar, daily, weekly, whatever it is, updating your database, adding to your database. So even if you look at your 411, your annual, monthly, and weekly goals, right? Your 411, maybe you make a commitment to yourself to add 5 contacts a week. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You're adding 5 contacts a week. That's 20 in a month. And you got 7 months left. That's 140 contacts, right? 20 contacts. I did do that right? 140 contacts. Think of your database right now. Look at your database. How many people are in that database? Do you have a first name, last name, phone number, email address, mailing address, birthday? Those are the 6 elements of a contact. All that information goes into command, right? So even if you have 100 people in your database right now, but you commit to making 5 contacts a week, not even a day, a week, you're going to double your database by the end of this year. There is no secret recipe with real estate. The more people you call, the more people you have in your database, the more people you reach out to. Even in this Gary Keller mastermind that I did 2 days ago in Austin, the most visible agent wins. So your job is to go out there and be visible in front of more and more people. So again, if you look at even 5 contacts a week, where are those contacts coming from? Are they coming from open houses? Are they coming from referrals? Are they coming from door knocking? Are they coming from being friendly at the gym or at the bar or at, you know, Starbucks? Even just enjoying your daily coffee instead of taking that coffee and going on the runs. Be that person that sits in front of Starbucks every day drinking their coffee and chat away to everybody else if you're that type of high I person, you know? Was this helpful? Is there any questions I can ask for you guys in the last 5 minutes? I want to keep respectful of your time. Anything unclear? You guys ready to do your 411? Yeah? All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate your
I have
time.
a quick question, Dan. I'm sorry. And this is Kiana. I joined late because I was on my commercial coaching call, so I apologize.
Oh, no worries. Glad you're
But
here.
I did a 411, and I guess my question is there a maximum of goals that we should include? Because I'll just like, and as an example, this is mine, and this is like all my business and all my personal, and then, you know, it's like year to month to week. And you know, I went back and pulled it from last year before COVID just to see what, and it was like some things I did accomplish, but I feel like maybe I put too much. Is there a maximum number of things that we should have there?
Yeah, I think, I wouldn't say there's a maximum, but I definitely think there's probably, without looking at your list. So if you do want to send me your list, I'm happy to look at it. Just email it to me. There's probably things that kind of overlap. And Serena's more of kind of a mindset visualization person than I am, even though I'm on board with all of that too, you know. But I think also when you have like big lists like that, that probably also clouds things too. Like
Yeah.
you have your vision board, you're looking at it, but you can't like you also like, even I think the one thing book, you know, you don't even write like a list of things to do, you know, because then you got this big list of stuff. But let me let Serena talk because I think she'll have a more insightful answer.
I was actually going to say that. I was actually going to say mindset is pretty much like 90% of the game in this business. So I highly recommend that doing things on a daily basis that keeps your mind in the space that it needs to is really, really critical to maintain the consistency of this business. And Kiana, to your point of the list, I think a good base to kind of think about it is if you're overwhelmed by it, or if you are even hesitant to look at it, that's a sign there that you've just got too much going on. So simplicity is key in the sense that what's the one thing that I could do that makes everything else unnecessary or, you know, easy. So kind of clarifying that question, which is the one thing question, to identify the main goals, the big rocks, versus throwing everything that you want out there and then being so overwhelmed that you're like hesitant to look at it. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you, Serena.
I think if you maybe,
And Dan.
you're welcome. Yeah, and I don't need the accolades. It's okay. And I think if you maybe switch to more of this kind of a format too, maybe some of that stuff will just easily map out into the layout. That kind of all makes sense and resonates too. So maybe that might be helpful. But yeah. Any other questions? Any last questions?
Dan, could you
Yeah.
ask Whitney to send the file as a Word document because it's a JPEG, so I can't edit it?
Okay, perfect. Whitney, if you can send that out, that would be amazing. It should have also been in our daily happenings email, but I'll make sure if she might be helping someone at the front desk, I'll make sure we send out that 411 as a Word doc. Thank you. Or you can just email her too, frontdesk755@kw.com.
Thank you so
Can I-
much. Dan.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, of course.
This is for Serena, actually.
Okay.
As far as, not for you, but as far as cold calling, that's been kind of my thing that I've been focusing on with COVID.
Yep.
I do more of circle prospecting. Is there a way, like Dan was saying, if we have a certain price point we want to meet to with a certain type of transaction to meet a GCI, is there a way to look at not a farm, but a certain area to get that list of numbers and see what that turnover rate is?
Yeah. So when you're talking about like on the MLS, I think you can kind of go in and see what the range of prices is. That right, Dan? I'm not familiar with the MLS, but you could go and see like the price point around a certain area, right? Like let's say you're trying to look for homes that are 700,000 or whatever, right?
Right.
The MLS can show you that. Is that right, Dan?
Well, you're looking for, I mean, houses sell for all over the place, right? And then if it's on
Okay.
if it's on the MLS too, it's like, well, it's already listed or it's already sold, or maybe it's a canceled listing.
So because I have seen, and it may have been just when I drew out in the MLS and I don't have it, that it popped up what the houses that sold for. So that was what I may have been looking at, where it showed the prices. But we do have a system, and Ashley, reach out to me so that I can confirm this with you. But
Okay.
it used to have it like a heat map that basically shows the prices, but we would have to kind of go in and draw out and kind of see what's going on in those areas. And
Yeah.
then it would tell us what the turnover is in those areas. And then what we would do is we would get the prospecting data for you from those areas. So the answer is yes, we can. It's just, it may take a little bit of, let's map out this area, let's map out that area to get the price point that you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
So reach out to me so we can kind of narrow down what you're looking for and get you the data. I
Thank
put
you.
my information in the chat if you don't have it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course, my
Because
pleasure.
also, if a house, like for example, if a house hasn't sold for like 20, 30 years or something like that, it's not going to pop up on the MLS because there was like
Yeah.
a lot of holes in it that way too.
Right.
But you get the kind of like the gist of what prices are selling for based on an area, like Serena mentioned, for sure, you know? And then Tidal can pull the data for you. Also, the Michael Lewis Marketing Suite. So Zach would know this. They do like a monthly, I don't know how they set it up, but they do like a monthly kind of snapshot for an area too. So they can pull like, you know, Valley Glen, Valley Village, wherever the area is, Woodland Hills. They do have
called Altos reports, I think. Mark, is that what it's called? Altos?
Yeah, I
I
think
have
so.
access to that too, but you would need to say, let's say, like I get our territory, which is Studio City, Encino, Sherman Oaks, like I get that on a regular basis. So if you guys want that, you can ask me for it, but it's going to be like weekly snapshots of like the median price that it went for, and it'll give you stats. And a lot of the marketing that you see, whether it be market trends that are coming from Michael Lewis or another resource, it's usually coming from Altos reports. But I don't know that that would be exactly what Ashley's looking for, which is like a specific, you know, more of a specific pocket versus an entire, you know, city.
Got it. Okay, cool. Sorry.
But no, I mean, that's great. So that brings up Altos. If you do need something on that, you could reach out to me. I have that as well.
Cool. Anyone else? 12:03. Have a great lunch.
Thank you, Dan.
Bye, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you all being here.
Thank you.